Hello! Today we are going to be making a piece of art that uses what we've learned about warm and cool colors. Now, if we remember correctly, the cool colors are blues, purples, greens, and the shades and tints of those. And the warm colors are yellow, orange, and red. Today we're going to be making a landscape. So what you're going to need before you start is you're going to want a black marker and paper and some sort of thing to color with. You can use crayons or colored pencils, or what I'm going to be using today is paint. But if you're going to be using paint, make sure you talk with your parents first and you have them set it up for you and they're watching. Now, let's see what we're going to begin with. So take your piece of paper in front of you, and what you're going to do is use your marker. You're going to draw some arrows. Now you can use your marker instead of a pencil because there are no mistakes here. So what you're going to draw is a line straight from the bottom with a pointed top just like an arrow and a line down again. And you're going to draw as many of those as you want, as different heights. So I'm going to draw another one. There we go. I'm just going to keep doing that. If you want, you can even draw some behind them. So there we go. I've got a bunch of arrows near each other. And remember, there's no mistakes here. Now, we're going to end up making this a landscape of buildings. And what we want to do for that is we're going to take from every point of our triangles, we're going to draw from the point to the base or until it runs into another building. So just a straight line all the way down. If we do that, you see that as I draw them down, we begin to see 3D buildings that are facing towards us. Isn't that cool? Now what we're going to do now is I'm going to add another final building over here to fill out my landscape. What we're going to do is to add the sky. And what we're going to do to make the sky is we're going to add concentric circles. That's what concentric. Now if you remember from our lesson earlier, concentric means within each other. So you're going to choose a spot and you're going to draw a circle, whatever size you'd like. I drew mine pretty small, and then you're just going to keep going around and tracing that. And whenever you hit a building, just pause so that it falls behind it. So keep drawing your circles. Oops, there we go. That's where I'm going to stop with my circles. Now you've got the basis of your landscape. Looks great, doesn't it? Now what you want to do is you want to choose if you want your buildings to be cool or if your sky to be cool, and then the other one is going to be warm. I'm going to make my sky a warm color and my buildings a cool color. So I'm going to start with my sky. I'm going to take my paintbrush, where you can take your crayons or your pencils, and I'm going to choose a warm color. So I'm going to start with yellow, and I'm just going to paint inside each of my lines with my warm colors. And you can leave some of the spots white, and that'll actually make it stand out more. As you can see, I have finished the sky in my warm colors with my oranges and my yellows and my reds and mixes of those two. So now I'm going to continue on and do the opposite for the buildings. So I'm going to be using cool colors. So if you did warm colors for the sky, you'll also want to do cool colors for your buildings. But if you did cool color for your sky, do warm color for your buildings. And this will add contrast and make it stand out. So go ahead and begin with that, using your blues and your purples and your greens and your tints and shades of those colors. And those will be your cool colors, and you can make buildings. And a special trick with this to make these buildings look more 3D is to use the same color on each building, but make one side darker or lighter than the other. So I'm going to be using green on this one, and then I'm going to use a lighter green for the other side, and it'll make it look more 3D. So let's see here. Here's my lighter green. If you notice, it looks like a 3D building. Okay, I'm going to continue finishing my building, and you do the same, and we'll return to see what the finished piece looks like. Okay, so here we go with my finished the painting of the cool colors and the warm colors. Now, if you used paint instead of crayons or pencils, you may have noticed that as you painted, you lost your black lines that you initially drew. So as you can see with what I did with the sky is I went back with my black paint and I painted back over the lines so that it stood out again. And what you can do is not only can you paint over the black lines so that you can have that look of the building again, but you can also, on your buildings, paint or draw windows and doors. Now, if you can try, you should try and make the windows and doors along the same lines as your arrow. So, let me show you what I mean by that. So for this building, if I wanted to, I would want to draw my window with a line like that, because that's the direction of the arrow. And there we go, we have a window. And we can do the same thing on our other buildings. If we want to have doors, again, we would just have to make sure that the top line followed our arrow. And if you can't do that, it's okay, and it'll still look really great. So yeah, there you go. There's what your final project should look like when you're done. Will be a row of buildings in front of a bright sky. And depending on what colors you chose, it'll have a different feel. Perhaps, like mine, looks like the city feels cool, but the day feels hot because we used warm colors for the sky and cool colors for the city. But if you use the reverse, it may look like it's a cold day, but that you're warm when you're at the buildings, which makes sense to an extent. Once you're done with your piece, you're going to want to sign it and show it to your parents and perhaps explain what the different colors make you feel, whether they're warm or cool. And there we go, there's my finished piece. How did yours turn out?